Greetings, and welcome to week 2 of GRA 310.
Congratulations. Probably, if you're not working on it now, you've written your first bit of code. And from now on, until the end of the term, we'll be building on this bit of code step by step. This week, you'll add invisible comments, they're called meta tags, to your code, and then place it on a Geocities server where we can all look at it. A server is called a server because it serves up content to the user when it's requested. You will upload your files to the Geocities account using a system called File Transfer Protocol, or FTP. And hopefully you've had success downloading CyberDuck. I'm going to demonstrate that at the end of the video. Also, I'll demonstrate how I signed up for a Geocities account. In any case, in order for your Geocities account to recognize the files you'll be uploading, we need to learn to name them correctly. There's a worksheet, I think it's in Module 2.2, on how to do that.
I've summarized our goals for the week here. In our discussion, we'll assess the value of HTML5, CSS3, and FTP. We'll evaluate file name appropriateness for web design, and you'll learn how to comment on HTML code that you're writing. For 2.1, read the assigned textbook chapters and write your initial post for this week's discussion. The title of the discussion is something like The Value of Being Tech Savvy. And I encourage you to take a personal view, maybe cite an instance where being tech savvy has helped you out. 2.2, review the W3 School's video tutorials on HTML comment and HTML5 style guide and coding conventions, and then complete the naming worksheet after reading the file naming guidelines and rubric. Please go to Module 2 for the more detailed reading list. As we learn to name our files properly so that they can be uploaded to a server and be recognized, we have a worksheet here, provided you a worksheet. You can access it through Module 2. And all you need to do really is, I'll do one, I'll pick one randomly here, page quote 1 quote .html. That would probably be bad, and I'll tell you why. First of all, special characters like quotes are not allowed in HTML titles or naming conventions. So I see. Other than that, though, I don't think it would be a problem. So I'm going to say here, special characters like quotes are not recognized. Actually, it may not be that they're recognized. It may be that they stand for something else. And in databases, when you're converting them to text files, oftentimes comma quote delimiters are used. And so that's probably why you wouldn't want to use quotation marks. When you sign up for a Geocities account, you should come to this page, and I would suggest, just getting a homesteader account here. I don't want there to be any hidden cost in this class, and I don't want also for you to accumulate websites in your travels through SNHU, because there will be other occasions to design websites and to secure domains. So anyway, go for the homesteader free account. It offers anything that you'll need in this class. We're not going to be using databases, so no need to. And if you really develop this into something that can sustain itself, then you might want to consider, one of these adding features to your plan. Anyway, this is what the Geocities web page looks like. Notice this interesting extension here. I looked it up. It's Samoa. It's an American territory or protectorate. And Geocities used to belong to Yahoo, I believe. It was sold off, I think, in the late 90s, perhaps the early part of the 21st century. And it had millions of accounts on it. It was a way of inexpensively establishing a web presence, and you could build your own websites on it. Yahoo sold it, or abolished actually the websites. Some of them were resurrected here. It was kind of a large loss for the internet, and many people who had web presences on GeoCities found themselves not supported. Well, anyway, this is what it's become. It's one of the I guess the inheritors of GeoCities. And after you sign up, you should get a menu that looks something like this. Now, Amy Joyce in this class had asked me some really good questions, and so she had asked me, should I use my school address, email address, or actually first, username? Should I use a name that is similar to my client? And I think that's a good idea, okay? However, if you're going to change this maybe into a personal website, you might consider making it have something more to do with your name. But I think, in the interest of the client or the hypothetical client, yes, username should be something like town restaurant, perhaps. It might be taken, or try the other one if you're working on, say, pasta amore. Then here, which email should I provide? Should I provide SNHU email, or should I provide my personal email? Again, that's up to you. If you envision this going somewhere, perhaps use your personal or professional email. If you don't expect this to develop this past the class, perhaps use your SNHU email. Anyway, all of this information should be put in a place that you have access to later. And after you fill this out, you can hit Create My Account. Now look, it took me a while to establish an account, and I think it's because I kept entering my user ID incorrectly. But in any case, this is the menu you should get when you successfully create a GeoCities account. Now, the next thing you need to know is how to upload files to your GeoCities server. Now, there's two ways you can. In the class, we're using a FTP client, a file transfer protocol client called CyberDuck. And hopefully, you've been able to download that. In any case, CyberDuck, once you've installed it, it's a very simple menu. Let me move this window up here. I don't know if you can see this at the top of my screencast here, but up here it's is the title of the program. It's not hard to use. I've already logged in. When you open a connection in CyberDuck, you'll come up with this. Of course, your information is going to be different. Your username will probably be your client or something close to your client. Just key in your password. And you'll get a connection like this. Or not. Okay. This is another tricky. It's fairly slow, so oftentimes I find, okay, so here it is. By default, you're given an index page. Now, you wrote one. What you're probably going to want to do is replace that. The default CyberDuck, or rather GeoCities homepage, you're going to want to replace. But before you destroy it or get rid of it, take a look at it. Open it up. Open up the HTML in the default homepage that you've been given in GeoCities, and take a look at the HTML. Now you can do that simply by dragging and dropping it. So I'm going to take this index.html, make sure you don't overwrite the page that you've written, and I'm going to drag it onto my desktop. And it may ask me if I can do that. So be careful not to overwrite what you've already written. If it prompts you to overwrite an index file, make sure that you've got the right one. Here's the GeoCities default HTML file that you get, and you can see, here will be the name of your client. It's nice. A lot of it's already set up, and you can play around with this to change it. Maybe insert your client's mission statement, or reconsider exercise 1.4 in this context. All right, that's enough, I think, for now. There are minimal meta tags on this. Remember, meta tag is something that you can't see, but it's visible in the coding. Here's one, meta content. You won't be able to see that on the screen, but you can see that it is a comment made in the code. So don't forget to comment on or mark up your HTML, again, using meta tags. Those will be seen by you in the code, but won't be seen by the viewer on the web page. Check out your web page as you develop it throughout the rest of the term in a wide variety of browsers. There's a very useful resource in the readings that you can use so that you're not opening up a lot of browsers and then selecting files. You can do a shotgun approach and look at your page on a screen as it would look in maybe a dozen browsers or more. So anyway, take a look at that resource. But just be aware that you probably should be looking at your web page on as many platforms and web browsers as possible. Call me before you get discouraged at any reasonable hour. I think you have my number. So good luck.